Friends, good morning. It's good to be with you this morning. So, I love the thought that this morning all around, not just our little city, Middleburg Heights, not just all around the diocese, but kind of all around the world. I think it's a pretty universal tradition. The thought that little boys and girls are waking up this morning, running downstairs and checking their shoes to see what good sweet treats that St. Nicholas has put in their shoes overnight. I remember we didn't do a lot of Catholic traditions growing up as a boy, as a family. We weren't really even going to Mass, so that was a pretty important one. We weren't doing that too much. But for whatever reason, the shoes on St. Nicholas's Day, that was one that we did. And I remember my brother and I, I thought I was really clever, getting every shoe imaginable in the house. Like we had my sneakers, my soccer cleats, sandals, ski boots. Anything that looked like a shoe, we put downstairs. So it was as many shoes as possible. And come to know over the years, it was my dad's mom, my grandma, who would purchase for my dad those little chocolate gold coins. And I guess instead of just depositing the one little package of the gold coins in one shoe, my dad would put a gold coin in all the shoes to disperse it over all of my clever scheming. I really didn't swindle St. Nicholas as much as I think I did. So anyway, St. Nick on this beautiful feast day. So I just love the thought that something beautiful and sweet and unexpected is waiting for you in a most unexpected place, right? Something beautiful, sweet, delightful is waiting for you, hiding, resting in the most unexpected place. You don't expect to find a toy. You don't expect to find candy in your shoes. And that is right there so much the heart of the incarnation, the Christmas mystery, that the beauty, the sweetness, the treasure is now hiding and lying in a most unexpected, equally stinky place, right? In the manger, in the stable. So this feast of St. Nicholas, who was this bishop of the early church, the bishop of Myra? He was born in the late 3rd century. He's about 200 years after the birth of Christ. And in a sense, that's I almost wanted to say he's kind of like a contemporary. Way more contemporary to the time of Christ than us. But anyway, his parents were very, very wealthy. They gave him an excellent education. He was an only child. They both of his parents died early in his childhood of an epidemic, and he was raised by his uncle, who was the bishop of Patara, which is in present-day Turkey. He heard his uncle, the bishop, preaching about Jesus' call to go sell all that you have and give to the poor, and you'll have treasure in heaven. This was one of those moments that for Nicholas was so convicting that he just responded. I love in the tradition of the church how you have these saints who hear like a single line and their soul, their heart is just thrust through, utterly pierced, and they respond immediately. Think of St. Augustine, right? He had just had this powerful moment. He hears the voice of the angel, take up and read, tolle lege, take up and read. And he opens the scriptures to a line from St. Paul, and he has, again, the same sort of piercing conversion experience. So anyway, this was Nicholas. He suffered under the persecutions of Diocletian. He was arrested. He was in prison for a while for being a Christian. He's best known, I would say, for his involvement in combating Arianism, right? And taking part in the Great Council of Nicaea, which this year marked I'm so bad at math, but it happened in the year 325. So some major anniversary. That was like the 3,000th anniversary. Someone can fact check me later. Anyway, he took part in the Council of Nicaea in 325, in which Constantine gathered the bishops, the first ecumenical, meaning universal council of the bishops, to weigh in on this question of, was Jesus co-equal with God the Father? Or was he sort of like a demigod, like a Hercules? Because that's what Arius and his followers were purporting. That's what they were putting forward. And in fact, most of the bishops throughout the entire world at this time had become Arian. So you had Athanasius and you had Nicholas kind of holding to this orthodox position, and they prevailed. They prevailed in this council. Story goes that at some point, whether it's true or not, I don't know. I'd like to think it's true. At some point in the council, supposedly Bishop Nicholas punched Arius in the face over his heretical position. I think that's a hilarious image of Santa in my mind, holding that image. I know we got breakfast at the North Pole, breakfast in Bethlehem coming up, and I hope no fists are thrown. Anyway, but every single Sunday we rise and we profess the creed, which is the Nicene Constantinopolitan Creed. It is us rehearsing the defeat of Nicholas and Athanasius over Arius every single Sunday. We get up again and we slap him down again. We say, no, he was God from God, light from light, true God from true God, begotten, not made, consubstantial with the Father, homoousios, one in being, one in nature, the same substance of the Father. That's who we claim Jesus to be. That's who Nicholas defended. So on this great feast day of this extraordinary saint, this early church bishop and martyr, this doctor, this pastor, we want to call upon his intercession for all of us, that we would have these generous hearts that he did, that we would have these orthodox hearts that he did, that we would burn for love of Jesus like he did. Amen.